Sir.
Thank you, Dr. Tityal. It's always a pleasure being with you and our association. I'm very fond of it. Is everything in order?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'll be talking about management of hard cataract. And when you're looking at a hard cataract, it is really a challenge even for the most experienced surgeons, though there has been significant improvement in the technologies that are available in the phaco machine. Now, when you look at the studies that have happened, this is the famous Swedish capsule rupture study, which clearly shows white and brunescent hard cataracts are associated with increased risk of capsular toxicity. Can everybody else be muted, please? Good. Excuse me. Yeah, thank you. So what has been shown is that white and brucescent hard cataracts are associated with an increased risk of capsular rupture. So you have to start right from the pre-operative. You can actually see the hard brown black lens that is shining onto you. But the pre-operative assessment would involve looking at how much is the pupillary dilatation. Nowadays, the tamsulosin use has complicated things for us. A specular microscopy to look at the corneal endothelium is important. Zonular integrity needs to be seen whether there is any weakness or not, whether there is pseudo exfoliation, etc. or not. The morphology of the cataract and posterior segment evaluation, these are the other important things that you need to do. Now, when you're looking at a hard cataract, the challenges are the following, which has been written. The first is that there is a compromise in the visibility because the red reflex may not be good. Often because of the milky fluid, the red reflex goes away. The second thing is because of the capsular changes and poor visibility, doing a CCC becomes a problem. The AC depth is often compromised because the lens having been sitting there actually tends to become more in volume and there is less surgical space for manipulation. Then there are corticocapsular adhesions which can happen and that makes hydrodissection and rotation difficult. But the most important thing, the biggest problem, the bugbear is this leathery fibers that you have, which is a problem that you have to break these leathery fibers of the nucleus to be able to get away with the phacoemulsification. So when you're looking at the nucleus, what is very important is that it is a biconvex structure and the central portion is the thickest. So normally youngsters tend to go towards the periphery and try to split, but that does not mean that it is going to come to the center to split it. So what is very, very important, whether you do a trench and then do a splitting or you do a direct chopping, the main important thing is that this depth needs to be about 90% of the depth and you need to have a through and through cut. So what is important is the central part of the nucleus that needs to be broken. This periphery will follow on its own. So you don't have to concentrate on the periphery. The center is what is doing to be done. So if you have a shallow a shallow trench and you are doing, the vector forces are such that it will not crack. This is how the vector forces are coming like this. But if you have a deep enough trench and you have these both instruments down, then the vector forces go like this rather than coming like this, and they will be able to crack the nucleus well. Nuclear emulsification, you can do a direct chop, you can do a divide and conquer, stop and chop, but my preferred technique is a primary chop, which actually reduces time that is taken and unnecessary phacoemulsification may not be required. Modifications can be done as crater and chop, sculpt and chop, drill and chop. These are modifications which allow. So let me just show you the important things that I have said. Good viscoelastic, good fluid, and you can see this is a very, very dense leathery fiber which is there. So what we are doing is that you can see that we are going deep in, and a chopper which is sharp. You can see we are holding it and it is the central portion that we are trying to disassemble. So look here, again we are trying to disassemble until of course this backbone is broken. You can see we are coming to the center with the chopper. The hold is solid which is there, and then we rotate the nucleus again, bury into the depth of the nucleus. What is most important is the depth, and see that we are trying to break this here until of course this separation is complete. We will not be able to remove the nuclear fragments, which you can see now we can remove. So what is important is that the machine settings should be known to you. We have put viscoelastic again. You can see we are going into the depth of the nucleus and again holding it and doing the chopping only in the central portion and breaking these leathery fibers. The machine settings, you can see we are going to 500 plus vacuum in these particular case. The machine settings would depend on the machine that you are using. And again, you can break the nucleus into as small small a piece as you want. So fluidics based surgery is something very, very important. The power is used to drill so that you go deep into it, so that you have a good vacuum seal, and then you have to break the center portion and break the leathery fibers that is there. I'll just show you another particular case, and this is the signature machine, which is much older, but you can see again there was an attempt to go to the fluid-based system. Now, this is a 19 gauge needle that you use. In hard cataracts, we prefer the 19, and look at the solid hold even right here. You can see that the hold is very solid. I am within the rim of the capsular axis. My chopper is here, and you can see that we are separating it with a lateral movement and doing a separation which is there for the nucleus. You can see this overlay which is showing that how we are working at that particular level. Now, the important thing here is that if you are not getting a separation, what I'm wanting to show in this is that instead of the phaco handpiece, you can also use two manipulators, which you can see here. You can use two manipulators or a hook to separate out these pieces, and to again then go ahead and use the chopper at this. And see, this is the leathery fibers till this backbone. See, that is the breaking of the backbone. Once you have the breaking of the backbone, then you can go ahead and again you can see break the backbone, make them into smaller pieces, and use good viscoelastic to take it out. Now, this is the power of femto, as I will tell you in a black cataract, which is we are using. You can see you make a larger capsular axis, which is about 5.2. You get a good neat capsular axis in this particular case, and you can see that actually this case was being considered for an SICS by my colleagues. Said that let us do an SICS, and since I think even both Dr. Titial and myself, we have never been trained for SICS. We went from ECC to phaco. I said, let us just do a femto. And in this particular case, again, you can see we are going at the rim of the capsular axis. And just watch that the machine is holding the nucleus pretty well. Look at these bubbles that is coming, and look at the ease at which we got the crack. So typically, we are increasing the repetition rates in the femto to 3 times, but now I'm doing it only at 2. Dr. Chi says it does not make a difference whether you're doing the repetition increase or not. But again, the central core of the nucleus is broken by the power of femto. And I'll just show you the color of the nucleus. Look at it. It's actually a black cataract, which is there. And you can have the nuclear fragment, but you need to use good viscoelastic and use very little power at this particular time with high fluidics, which is there. The important key again is to break the nucleus here and to kind of do an aspiration. When you are at the last fragment, that is the time when you have to reduce the vacuum settings, because it is at this time that you might, because of the lack of any support, you might get change in the fluidics, and you could get a posterior capsular rent, which is there in this particular case. And this is the IA that is done, and you get a good outcome. So friends, good viscoelastic is something very required. BSS plus, if you can use, working in the center of the area and breaking the backbone of the nucleus that is there. These are the difficult situations that you get in nuclear emulsification, and you need to take care that the incomplete separation becomes a complete separation, and that is where you have to be patient and do particular things. And as I told you, there is an absence of an epinuclear cushion for protection of the posterior capsule. So moderate your phaco power metrics. You can go from one setting to another with a click, and that is what you need. Viscoelastic will need to be injected at times of below to cover the anterior capsule. Now, whenever there is a PCT, that's a separate talk altogether, but an early detection will lead to good optical management. And I told you, it is not during the time of phacoemulsification that you have the problem. It is normally at the last piece, or when you are doing the epinuclear removal that you can have a tear. So at that particular time, use disperses OVT, tamponade the posterior capsule, maybe converted into a capsular axis, and continue with your procedure. Now, the last thing that I wish to say is that when you are doing a hard cataract, there is going to be damage because of the surgical time to the cornea. So chondroitin sulfate is something which is very, very important. BSS plus is something that is very, very important. Phacoing away from the cornea is also something very important. And I always use atropine at the end of the surgery, so that any ciliary, the ciliary body is relaxed, and the inflammation that is there is significantly reduced. And because you have to use steroids, etc., for a long time in these particular cases, you should supplement it with NSAIDs to prevent the inflammation reaching to the macula. That is the chance of CME in these particular cases. Steroids needs to be given a little more intensively along with cycloplegics. And the IOP needs to be monitored in these particular cases, specifically if you have used Viscoat or Helon, etc. So these are a couple of the tips that I wanted to give you as regards hard cataract. And hard cataract, if handled properly, will come out with good results for you. Thank you very much for your kind attention.